The Accounting Firm of 2028, to slide one. Thanks for joining today. I want to have a direct conversation with you about where the accounting profession is heading over the next 2 to 3 years. Not the version you hear at conferences, not the vendor pitch, the actual structural reality that most firm partners are too busy with client work to step back and examine. My name is Sal Carrero. I have spent the better part of 2 decades inside the mechanics of accounting businesses. I'm going to share what I see coming and, more importantly, what the firms that survive are doing about it right now. Slide 2. Before I get into the content, let me explain why I am standing here talking to you about this. I am not an accountant. I have never been one. But I have spent my career inside and alongside accounting businesses. I was Group CEO of a national accounting group where I ran the business side, growth strategy, partner management, P&L responsibility. Before that, I was Sales and Marketing Director at Lawfund, working directly with over 700 accounting firm members. And for the last 11 years, I have led the SME Association of Australia. We support over 315,000 business owners across the country and nearly 10,000 in the US. That vantage point is unique. I see what firms are selling and I hear what business owners actually want to buy. And right now, there is a massive disconnect between the two. Slide 3. This is what I see from both sides of the table every single day. On the left is what most accounting firms sell: compliance work, tax, BAS, audit, financial statements, essential work, important work. But look at the right side. When we ask business owners through the SME Association what they actually want from their accountant, the answers are completely different. They want someone who can help them grow, someone who can identify their vulnerabilities, someone who can tell them whether they are building genuine enterprise value or just buying themselves a job. They are not asking for cheaper tax returns. They are asking for a business advisor. And most of them do not think their accountant can help them with this. That gap is your single biggest opportunity. But it is also your single biggest risk, because if you do not fill it, someone else will. Slide 4. Now let me talk about what is accelerating this disconnect. AI, and I want to be very clear about something. I am not anti-AI. We use AI in our own work at the SME Association. This is not a scare story. It is simple maths. Tasks that used to take your team 10 hours are now being done in 15 minutes. Tax return preparation, bookkeeping reconciliation, financial statement generation, audit prep. AI tools are already doing this work, not in beta, not in pilot, in production right now. And the tools are getting better every quarter. Slide 5. Here is where it gets uncomfortable. If the vast majority of your firm's revenue comes from compliance work, and AI makes that work 10 times faster and 10 times cheaper, your revenue model is structurally broken. It does not matter how efficient you become. It does not matter how many AI tools you adopt, because your clients will know an algorithm is doing the heavy lifting, and someone somewhere will offer the same work at a fraction of your price, not because they are better than you, but because their overheads are close to zero. A startup with 3 people and AI tools can now output the compliance volume of a 30-person firm. That is not a prediction. That is happening today. Slide 6. Every conference right now is telling you to learn AI, get certified, automate compliance, and you should. I am not saying do not learn AI, but I am saying that nobody is asking the follow-up question. You automate your tax returns. Great. They take 30 minutes instead of 3 hours. You automate bookkeeping. Brilliant. Twice the throughput. Now what? Your clients notice the work is getting done faster. They start questioning the bill. A competitor offers the same work at half your rate. And you are standing there with an AI certification, wondering why being more efficient did not make your business more secure. Because efficiency in a commoditizing service does not protect your revenue. It accelerates the race to the bottom. Slide 7. This is the question I want every person on this webinar to sit with for a moment. Not how do I use AI, not how do I get more efficient. When compliance revenue drops by 50 to 80%, and the trajectory says it will, what replaces it? Because if you do not have an answer to that question, no amount of AI certification is going to save your firm. Slide 8. The answer is advisory. Business advisory. Helping your clients grow their operations, improve their cash flow, strengthen their leadership, prepare for exit. This is work that pays more per engagement than compliance ever did. It is relationship driven, which means clients stay longer. And it is genuinely AI proof because you cannot send an algorithm to sit in a boardroom with a stressed founder and map out a succession plan. That requires human empathy, strategic foresight, and deep trust. Your clients already trust you more than any other professional in their life. You already know their numbers. You are one conversation away from being the advisor they are desperately looking for. Slide 9. So if advisory is so clearly the answer, why have most firms not started? I hear 4 barriers constantly. First, training. You spent years training in compliance. Nobody ever trained you in how to have a strategic conversation about growth and exit. Second, confidence. Most partners already give advisory level advice informally over coffee at the end of a tax meeting, but formalizing it as a paid service feels different. Third, capacity. Compliance work is urgent. It has deadlines. Advisory keeps getting pushed to next quarter. And fourth, tools. Even if you wanted to start, most firms do not have a structured framework for delivering advisory work consistently across the firm. These are real barriers, but they are all solvable. And the firms that solve them now, while compliance still pays the bills, will be in a fundamentally different position to the ones that wait. Slide 10. I want to share something directly from our experience at the SME Association. These are the questions business owners bring to us every day across 315,000 members. How do I know what my business is worth? Where am I vulnerable? Am I building something a buyer would actually want? How do I grow without destroying my team? These are not accounting questions in the traditional sense. They are advisory questions, and the person best positioned to answer them is their accountant. You already know the financials, you already have the relationship. You just need the framework to turn that knowledge into a structured paid service. Slide 11. Now, for firms that have tried to move into advisory, there is another problem that does not get talked about enough. The tools. Every advisory platform on the market works the same way. You subscribe. Your client data goes onto their server. Everything is branded to promote the platform vendor. And when you leave, you get almost nothing back. We have seen this firsthand. Names and emails. That is it. Years of client engagement history gone. And here is the deeper question. Who actually owns your client's data while it sits on a third-party server? What happens if that vendor gets acquired, changes terms, gets breached? You tell your clients to protect their sensitive information. Are you applying the same standard to the tools you use? Slide 12. This is why the SME Association built something fundamentally different. We asked a simple question. Why can a firm not own its own advisory platform? The answer is economics. Building this kind of platform costs $500,000 to over $1 million. No commercial vendor can offer ownership at an accessible price. They need the subscription lock-in and the data control to justify their investment. But we are not a commercial vendor. We are a not-for-profit that has supported SME owners for 15 years. Our mission is to equip the advisors who serve those business owners. So we built a platform where every firm gets their own deployment, own website, own database, own branding. All client data belongs to the firm, no lock-in. If you want to leave or self-manage, you take everything with you. We are invisible to your clients. They see your brand, not ours. Slide 13. People ask how we can offer this at the price we do. 2 reasons. First, we are a not-for-profit. We do not need to extract maximum revenue from every firm. We need advisors equipped to help the business owners in our network. Second, and this matters, we built with AI, not before AI. Most advisory platforms on the market were built years ago on legacy technology. They spent millions on traditional development teams. Now they are trying to bolt AI onto systems that were never designed for it. We took a completely different approach. We invested deeply in understanding what AI can and cannot do. Then we used a human plus AI development model to build a modern platform from the ground up. The result is the same capability at a fraction of the traditional development cost. And because we are a not-for-profit, that saving goes directly to the firms we serve. Slide 14. I want to close with something that creates real urgency because it should. The window to build advisory capability is roughly 12 to 18 months. That is the period where compliance revenue is still strong enough to fund the transition, where AI has not yet fully commoditized the compliance fee structure, where your clients are still open to seeing you in a new light. After that window closes, the conversation changes. It shifts from we are proactively expanding our services to we are scrambling to replace lost revenue. Those are two very different positions. One is strategic, the other is survival. The firms that will define 2028 are the ones having this conversation right now, not next year, now. Slide 15. I am not here to sell you anything today. I am here because I have spent 20 years inside accounting businesses, and I can see clearly what is coming. If you're a firm partner or director who recognizes that the advisory shift is real and wants to explore what it looks like for your specific firm, I would welcome that conversation. Direct, confidential, no pressure. Reach out through LinkedIn or email me at members.smea.org.au. I will make the time. Thank you for being here today. I'm happy to take questions. Is Q&A? Q. We already do some advisory informally. How is this different? That is actually a great position to be in because it means the knowledge is already there. The difference is structure. Informal advisory does not scale, does not get priced properly, and is not visible as a service line. What we are talking about is turning that into a systematic, repeatable, properly priced offering with proper deliverables. The evaluation tool gives you a front door to start that conversation with every client, not just the ones you happen to chat with over coffee. Q. Our clients would not pay for advisory on top of what they already pay. With respect, that is almost never true. What business owners resist paying for is vague advice with no deliverables. When you show a business owner a comprehensive evaluation of their business with scored sections, benchmarks against their industry, valuation ranges, and a priority action plan, they see immediate value. We see this consistently across our 315,000 members. The demand is there. It is the delivery that has been missing. Q. We do not have time to add advisory on top of compliance. That is exactly the trap. Compliance consumes all available capacity because it is urgent. Advisory keeps getting deferred because it is not. But AI is about to free up enormous capacity. The question is whether you have something to fill that time with when it opens up. If you do not, you will have empty hours and shrinking revenue at the same time. Q. How do you protect our client data if we use your platform? You protect it yourself. That is the whole point. Every firm gets their own deployment, own server, own database. We do not hold your data. We do not have access to it. It is yours. If you leave, you take everything. This is fundamentally different from every other platform on the market. Q. Why should we trust a not-for-profit to build serious technology? Because we did not build it the way a not-for-profit usually builds things. We used a modern AI native development approach with serious technology underneath it. The platform is sophisticated, but because we are not trying to maximize shareholder returns, we can offer ownership at a price that no commercial vendor can match. Test drive it. You will see the quality for yourself. Q, what does it cost? I am happy to walk you through the economics one-on-one. What I will say is that it is a fraction of what you might expect, specifically because of our not-for-profit model and how we built it. Reach out after this session and I will give you the full picture.